TV host sick and tired of Has. Sean Hannity drags Sussex over the coals for bashing the US. Popular US TV host Sean Hannity unleashed a scathing attack on Prince Harry for bashing the US while he lives there after the Duke of Sussex's recent speech at the United Nations drew widespread controversy. Harry used a speech at the United Nations this week to bash the US, prompting widespread backlash from American conservatives. In an interview with Piers Morgan, popular Fox News host Sean Hannity said he was sick and tired of Harry and his wife Meghan Markle lecturing Americans. The primetime host said, "One of America's newest residents, Prince Harry, is once again bashing the USA, using a recent speech at the United Nations to say this about our great country." He then showed a clip of Harry telling the audience at the UN, "This has been a painful year in a painful decade. We're living through a pandemic that continues to ravage communities in every corner of the globe. Climate change wreaking havoc on our planet, with the most vulnerable suffering most of all. The few, weaponizing lies and disinformation at the expense of the many." The Duke of Sussex continued, "And from the horrific war in Ukraine to the rolling back of constitutional rights here in the United States, we are witnessing a global assault on democracy and freedom, the cause of Mandela's life." Mr. Hannity furiously condemned the remarks, which were seen as a veiled attack on the Supreme Court returning abortion-related authority to state governments via Dobbs v. Jackson. He said, "Save us the lectures." Those condescending remarks drew widespread mockery for Harry's complete and total disconnect from reality. Harry and Meghan are the same people who say they wanted privacy. So why all the hatred and disdain for the country he is choosing to move to after rejecting royal life in the UK? Why all the animosity and hatred for someone who lives such a privileged life? I'm sick and tired of this putrid woke lecturing from Harry and Meghan. Mr. Hannity joked that he would pay for a private jet to send them back to the UK. Other conservative voices, including several politicians, also criticised the Duke. Prince Harry has won permission for a judicial review into how his British security arrangements were cut back after he stepped away from royal duties. In a judgment delivered Friday, the High Court judge said the case could proceed, granting permission for part of Harry's claim to have a judicial review. This means there will be a full High Court hearing to review the Duke's claim that his case was mishandled by the public body that decides what levels of protection he receives. The Duke of Sussex is taking legal action over a decision to not allow him to pay for police protection for himself and his family when visiting from the USA, where they live in California. The application for permission to apply for judicial review is allowed in part and refused in part, Mr. Justice Swift said. The Duke's challenge concerns the February 2020 decision of the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, REVEC, over his security, after being told he would no longer be given the same degree of personal protective security when visiting. His legal team argued that the security arrangements set out in a letter from REVEC, and their application when he visited the UK in June 2021, were invalid due to procedural unfairness because he was not given an opportunity to make informed representations beforehand. Shahid Fatima QC, for the Duke, told the court earlier this month, he didn't know at that stage that the royal household was involved at all, he was told it was an independent decision. However, lawyers for the Home Office say REVEC was entitled to reach the decision it did, which is that Harry's security arrangements will be considered on a case-by-case basis, and argued that permission for a full judicial review should be refused. Mr. Justice Swift said the Duke had brought the claim for judicial review on 5 grounds, 4 of which were arguable and were granted permission, with some parts of the grounds removed.